Okay, hey guys, my name is Kaylin Gaines and I'll be going over the skills approach with you guys. I'm going to start with Cat's 3-skill approach from 1955. I'm not going to share it full screen because I'll have some things over here on the side that I'm going to share with you guys too. So if you're wondering why, that's why. So the 3-skills approach basically focuses on skills, and so I put it in here that skills are defined as goals or objectives that leaders can accomplish with knowledge and competencies. Basically, skills are things that you can acquire over time, whereas in previous chapters where you've learned about traits, those are simply who you are. So skills are attainable through experience and knowledge and things like that. So again, skills are something that can be attained. So the 3-skills approach includes 3 specific skills: technical skills, human skills, and conceptual skills. And I'm going to go over what each one of those means. So technical skills are basic activities, processes, tools, techniques within a specialized area. So for all of my teachers, I think of that specifically as being able to run a specific curriculum. My head as a kindergarten teacher immediately goes to Letterland, and basically means that I need to be able to use the CD-ROMs that go along with it, the book that comes along with it, the cards and things like that. All of the small technicalities that go into being a kindergarten teacher. Again, just the processes or the tools and things like that within our own specific area. The next one is human skills. It deals with humans. Fairly easy. It's just about people. So having your people skills, do you know how to effectively communicate your goals? Are you aware of what motivates you as well as the people around you? Do you cooperate well, and can you influence cooperation amongst the people around you? And tolerance and sensitivity to what is going on in other people's lives and who they are as individuals, as well as respecting them as well. And finally, conceptual skills. And these are the intricate ideas, which is, as you see my picture on the side, that go into organizations' goals and policies. So to make that a little more easier to explain it a little bit more in depth, I put in here are these skills necessary for everyone in the organization to possess. Yes, to a degree, but in actuality, no. Every person within an organization, so from your TAs all the way up to your superintendent, TAs are very important. Do not misinterpret that. There's just a different level of necessity, need for those 3 in particular skills. So we're going to start at the bottom, which would be us, the teachers. We would need to have technical skills and human skills in order to run those curriculums and things like that we're running in our classrooms. And naturally, we're going to have our human skills so that we can work with our students and our colleagues. And now as we move up to a higher level, if we go to our principal this way, that would be considered middle management. They're going to have to know all of the things that we have to know, of course, when it comes to the technicalities, because they are leading us. They're going to have to know how to cooperate with us and, again, the superintendent, so that they are communicating effectively what we need to do from the top management. And they're going to have a pretty good idea of the conceptual knowledge and skills from the highest part of the management. So they're going to have to understand the goals that are implemented, the policies, because they will be a voice from us. And finally, the top management, in this example, it would be the superintendent. They're going to have conceptual skills so that they can effectively build policy and things of that nature and set the goals that we need to do. However, as you can see, they're not going to need to know those technical skills. Like, I would not expect my superintendent to know how to effectively run Letterland. It's just not within their job. They are focused on me ensuring that I have acquired those skills and can effectively do that. So as you can see, the level of need for each one of these skills changes with who you are within the organization. That brings me to the second part of the chapter that we did. which goes from Katz to Mumford. And Mumford's skills model presented 5 key components of effective leadership performance. So our individual attributes, our competencies, leadership outcomes, career experiences, and environmental influences. All of them being with different value, competencies being at the heart of that model. So I wanted to start by showing you guys that model. As you can see, again, competencies are in the middle and bolded. We're going to go over each one of those, but I wanted you to have an idea of what the model looked like before we began talking about it. So we have our individual attributes, competencies, leadership outcomes, career experiences having a significant impact on these, and environmental influences affecting every factor of this model. So I'm going to start with competencies because it's at the middle and the heart of this. So there are 3 that are listed in the book in the middle, and I'm going to scoot over so you guys can see where I am. There we go. There we go. Oops, sorry, technology. So it starts with problem-solving skills. So the book listed 9 steps basically of effective problem solving. So first you have to define your problem. Say why it is a problem and what your goal is going to be, what your goal is to fix or solve. Constraint analysis is just figuring out what are your limitations within this. Planning, you guys, we're all teachers here, you understand. Forecasting, so having your vision for the future, where do you think it's going to go, what do you need to do. Creative thinking, all problems are not going to be black and white. You're going to have to come up with unique ideas a lot of the time. And then you're going to have to evaluate those ideas. You're going to have some sort of wisdom in order to do all of those things. And then your sense-making visioning. Again, which one of these ideas make the most sense? Are we going to be able to do this? What are the potential outcomes, positive and negative? And weighing those. So if it will let me scroll over here, and it won't, sorry, I was going to show you, it was just circled where that was. Actually, if I scroll at the bottom, it will. There we go. There's the first one. Next one that we're going to go into is social judgment skills. And that is just perspective taking and social perceptiveness. And this just means that effective leadership doesn't mean coming in and doing exactly what is best for you, but understanding the perspective of others, whether it be the teachers, the principals, the students, whomever, in order to make sure that the decision that you are making, the goals that you are putting forth are appropriate. And then social performance, again, just involving your understanding of, I have a Google meeting in 10 minutes, of all of those things. And finally, that brings me to the last part of our competencies of that square, and it's just the knowledge. As a leader, you need to be knowledgeable of the things that you are doing. So there's a certain level of expertise and facts and structures and schema that hopefully you have acquired over your career experience that allows you to be knowledgeable of the decisions and the goals that you are setting forth. All right. This next part of the skills model is individual attributes, which is very interesting to me because personally I feel like these are more traits, but who am I? So the first one is general cognitive ability. What can you do? How do you process information? How do you reason, your creative thinking, and things like that? Again, this is biology and not experience. Therefore, more of a trait, but who am I? Your crystallized cognitive ability. Now, those are what you have experienced. They are what you have acquired over time, likely not to lose those throughout your adulthood. So, as you learn, these are things that are crystallized. They have stayed with you, such as walking. That's one thing that comes to head, but things of that nature. Next motivation, the 3 motivations that are listed in our book are not the typical ones that we see, but they are willingness, dominance, and social good. I just want to point out that one, dominance, it does not mean dictatorship. It strictly means that you are willing to put forth and move as a leader when need be. Again, I'm over here in this first part. And finally, your personality. Are you open? Are you tolerant of ambiguity? Curious, confidence, and adaptability? Again, this is just who you are as a person. Now, these things and these traits can grow over time as you experience new things and you become more empathetic and whatnot as you grow as a leader. But yes, these are what you would need in order to be an effective leader. And finally, this very last one, your leadership outcomes. I didn't go in depth with this one because it is simply the outcomes. As you are problem solving, are you effective? Are you solving the problems effectively? And then your performance is just going to be evaluated per usual. You'll have your evaluations. Are you recognized, merit raises, and things of that nature. So again, that one I just didn't feel like we needed to go too in depth as doctoral students. Are you solving the problems that have been presented to you? And is your performance being evaluated in a way that allows you to know that your outcome is positive or negative? And last but not least, you can see I've circled them over here as we go through, just your career experiences. And those are just like your motivation, intelligence, ability. All of these things are going to grow with you. And that's why I put the ladder as you continue to have different experiences and new experiences as you grow as a leader. Last but not least are your environmental influences. Now, these can be internal or external. You cannot help if a hurricane or a tornado come by. Same way that as teachers right now in the midst of this technological age, we cannot help if the internet goes out, and it can affect every part of this model. Again, I just wanted to show you that model one more time. Competencies being at the heart of it. So your problem solving skills, social judgment skills, and your knowledge being some of the most important factors in effective leadership. Now, there are some pros and cons with all of this, and some of the strengths or pros that I felt that it was important to list was that it had an emphasis on specific skills. Again, skills are acquired over time, so really lets you know what you should see when looking for effective leadership. It's very appealing because if it's a skill, then everyone can acquire it. It doesn't immediately biologically take people out, certain people out as becoming good leaders. It allows you to become a good leader no matter who you are. And some of the weaknesses, again, it was listed in the book that some of the weaknesses are that it includes traits, which you heard me talk about earlier. So those parts are a little questionable in my opinion, and then apparently at the end with the author's opinion as well. With the number of components that are listed, especially in Mumford's skill model, it becomes very general, and it's not very concise, especially when you're talking about how to be a good leader, because none of these skills model actually tell you how. They tell you certain things that good leaders will show, but they don't tell you how to go about acquiring those certain skills or what you need to do and things of that nature. And that, in a nutshell, is the skills approach. And thanks.